Hi, Ed Knaggs. Thanks for joining me today.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm finally glad I hauled you over here to have a conversation at the Solar Summit. So earlier you spoke at the Tech Talk. What did you speak about?
Microgrids. Yeah.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more.
Well, that's the thing with microgrids. It's one of those terms that people sort of throw around in the industry, and it gets used for a lot of different things. It really is about alternate generation sources that have some ability to be controlled, and that's where our company comes in, and then can add a benefit to the existing system.
And you're located here in Nova Scotia, or are you all across Canada?
We're all across Canada. I grew up here in Nova Scotia, so this is home for me. But we have a strong presence in Western Canada.
Really?
There's a lot going on there as well. So
you
where's be where the market is.
Well, that's it. Well, where's the area of most growth that you're finding?
For this year is Alberta.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
There's just lots going on, lots of solar being installed, lots of utility interaction. So, we're seeing the utilities coming up with different programs to help manage, how much solar they're being seen being installed and stuff like that.
Right. Is it only solar, or is it other utilities as well?
No, it's all across. So it's not just solar. For us, it's any form of power generation. So, the company's well over 30 years old doing power generation with traditional generators and things like that.
Right.
We do wind, we do solar, we do battery storage, and we do all of them working happily together. That's our job. We're like the principal in the school. We have to make everybody get along.
Exactly. Well, on an earlier episode of this podcast, we talked to Bob Bennett of Block Technology, I believe it was. And what it is, it's a microgrid community in Tampa, Florida. Yep. It's all about that. So they're all self-reliant. It's all self-encasing. Is that the direction you guys want to go in, or you want to?
Oh no, we're already there. Yeah, we've been doing it for probably about 5 years now.
Really?
So,
wow.
We're a global company, so Australia is probably leading in the microgrid installations and things like that.
Yeah.
We've done a few here in Canada, some remote communities that are on diesel.
Really? Like up north, like Nunavut in those areas.
Correct. Yeah. And some remote islands and things like that off the coast of BC.
Wow.
So they're happily running off of solar and batteries.
Well, what does the setup look like?
So it depends on what's there and what's existing. So for that particular job, there was 3 existing diesel generators that then we had to convert their controls so that we could have full control over them, make sure that they could parallel together, come on seamlessly when needed and things like that. You don't get rid of them. They're still very valuable to the site.
Right.
And then we would add the solar and batteries.
Right.
We would have control over those as well. And then it's just a matter of, depending on certain conditions, is picking which asset is doing most of the work.
So if you're looking at northern areas, I mean, the north gets a lot of sun in the summer months.
Yes.
But what do you do in the off season?
Well, so for those sites is you then rely on the diesel.
Right. So it offsets.
Yeah, it offsets. One of the really nice things about adding batteries to a diesel site is the batteries are able to help the diesel generators.
Yeah.
So they actually can come on as an assistant if the generator is being overloaded, or turn into a load by charging and help the generator reach its optimal power point.
So with the batteries, is it lithium ion that you're using primarily?
Yeah, typically. Most of the systems. Some of the smaller systems still use lead acid, and lead acid still makes sense for backup power and stuff like that. Yeah. When you're not constantly cycling. But most of those types of systems that we just talked about are lithium.
Well, you're probably just looking all the time for, the industry is growing so quickly, you need to keep up to a lot of the advancements that are being made.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah. Well, so are there the microgrid communities or projects here in Nova Scotia that are happening?
Not really. I mean, we did one. Unfortunately, it wasn't renewables. It was actually a diesel generator where, that would island from the grid when the grid pricing. There's certain periods or a program that you can go on that during high demand periods, your rate goes skyrocketing. So then you just disconnect from the grid. So you don't get charged that high rate period.
So what got you interested in this industry? Tell me a little bit about your background and how it all
Well, I grew up here in Nova Scotia,
Yeah.
so went to school here.
Yeah.
Electrical engineering at Dalhousie.
Right.
And then I moved out west actually to play rugby, so
Ah!
unrelated, and then had to find a job and found a job in a solar company.
That's
And
awesome.
it just kind of snowballed from there, and that was like over 20 years ago.
So what's next for what's it?
ComAp?
ComAp. What's
Yeah.
next for your organization?
Well, we're continuing to grow in the hybrid microgrid side of things. So adding control elements as things get more complicated, as we get more renewables onto the grids.
Yeah.
More control is going to be needed, and I think we play a really good role in that space, and would really add value to all the parties, whether it's the asset owner or the utility or whatever might be needed.
So you've been taking in some of the conference. Have you been walking in on some of the sessions and giving them? Yeah. What are your key takeaways so far that you're getting?
Probably the biggest key takeaway was from lunch. Patrick Bateman talking about the need for storage and how urgent it is. So, and I completely agree. I mean, storage can add significant benefits to any system, and so I really,
whether it's
I would
utility
really
or whether it's residential or
all
commercial.
scale is, and I think because as he mentioned, it's urgent. We have to get the storage deployed very quickly, which means that then you can't really pick and choose where it should be put. It should just be deployed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, thank you so much. The next year ahead looks exciting for you guys.
Yeah.
2025.
I'm looking forward to the next Atlantic Solar Summit.
I know. That's great. Great to have you here. But thanks,
problem.
Ed. And so definitely check out ComAp.
Yep.
And it'd be great to, if you have any questions about, we'll definitely forward them over to you about,
Yeah, sounds great.
Microgrid technology.
We have a great website, so they're happy to check it out.
Awesome.
All right.
Okay, thanks, Ed.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right.
That was good.